Okay, I'm in K-Town and I'm here with my buddy Bilbo. This is Bilbo back here sniffing the tree. Bilbo is a little reactive when people talk to his guardian. And so in this video, I'm going to show you a little tip that you can use if your dog barks when people come and talk to you. So he's fine if people walk past him. It's just when people talk to his guardian. Can you give us a minute, please? If you can park right there, that's a perfect spot. Sorry, gotta navigate. It's LA, we're a very busy place. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk to her, and real quick, I'm trying to do this while we have this open parking spot, so we have open space. When you do this sort of thing, you don't wanna have a confined area. If a car's parked there, somebody's here, that might make the dog feel trapped. It's LA, we don't have a lot of huge areas, but this would be ideal to do in a park or an area like area where you have more space. If you are walking, Bilbo, and you notice that you're coming up to somebody's walking towards you, you might want to look for escape route. You can't see it right here, but there's basically a driveway right here. So if I'm walking, I see somebody coming by and they might want to talk to me, I might kind of stop right here. So that way if the person does want to start talking to me and Bilbo starts barking, I can move him away. The best thing you can do if the dog is reactive is increase the distance. But if we're in a confined area and there's a car there and there's a wall here, we're kind of trapped. So important to kind of be mindful of your surroundings. All right, so I'm going to have Bilbo's guardian take like 1 or 2 steps over here. I'm going to start talking, but I'm not going to be looking at her. Every time I nod, she's going to click and give him a treat. What we're essentially doing is we're clicking and giving him a treat for not barking. It's not that he thinks that I'm getting a treat for not barking, but he's displaying the behavior that we want. And when he displays the behavior we want, we click to let him know that's what we want, and then we give him a treat. And we got somebody walking through the shot. So just 1 minute. Thank you so much for your help. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you for your help. All right, so let's see, once this gentleman passes, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so if you wanna stand up, there you go. And so, have you noticed there's a certain amount of distance that people need to get to before he starts barking when they're talking to you?
If they're just right in front of me.
Okay, that was really good. Click. There you go.
Mind if other people are there.
Sure. Well, that person walked really close, but that was also a good positive association. So I'm going to have you put your hand through the leash and then grip the clicker with that hand. Okay. And then you can also grasp the leash here and then your clicker on top of it. So grasp your leash and put the clicker on top of that. That way you want to have that hand free. And normally I wouldn't have your hand, your clicker attached to the deal. So you want to just, all the moving extra stuff can create problems. All right, so if you want to call him over to you. All right, and so, hey, how you doing? Click and treat. There you go. Now, we're using a clicker, but he hasn't really been warmed up on the clicker yet. And so when you do this, you want to, in a calm environment, click, give the dog a treat, click, give the dog a treat. Do that about 12 to 20 times, maybe 3 or 5 different occasions. After that, the dog starts to associate. When I hear the click, that means something good is about to happen, or I did something well, or that my guardian likes and I'm about to get a treat. So I'm going to move a couple steps closer. Hey, how are you doing today? There we go. So we see we're about 8 to 10 feet away, and that's the distance that he likes to bark at. So now I'm going to move about 10 feet away, about 2 more feet away, and we're going to go ahead. And now he's kind of barking and reactive, so I'll move a little bit further away to give him a chance to reset. And I'm going to move out of the shot real quick. We have some people walking by, and so this will give us a chance to reset. And you're going to go ahead and ask him to sit. Click when he does, and give him that treat. Now, I like using a sit because a sit is a good way to indicate if a dog's comfortable or not. If a dog does not feel comfortable, it's not going to want to sit. And so I don't ask for a dog to sit multiple times. I ask him for a sit once. If it doesn't sit, then I would move about 3 to 5 feet away and ask the dog to sit again. And eventually you get to the point where the dog is comfortable enough to sit, then you know that that is a distance where the dog feels comfortable and relaxed. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to try this again. I'm going to be a little bit further away this time. And so now I'm about 2 feet further away than I was before. Hello, go ahead. And so urban environment, we have a lot of people walking by, and that's okay. So Bilbo is fine with people unless they try to talk to his guardian. So now I'm going to go ahead and we'll wait for Bilbo to look. Hey, how you doing? Okay, click and give him that treat. Now you see he's starting to snap his head around. Eventually you do this enough, they hear the click, they're looking for that treat, and that's what we're looking for. So I take a step closer. Hi, how's it going today? Good. Click. And she's doing a good job of not keeping the leash very tense. So now I'm going to go ahead and take him 1 more step closer. Now if the dog is sniffing, grooming itself, sits down, those are all things that we like. So we want the dog to do those sort of things. Those can be helpful. All right, and going to the bathroom, also an indication you're feeling pretty comfortable. Okay, and yeah, I got to dig up your dirt for a little bit, let everybody know that the big Bilbo dog was here. All right, so we have a gentleman walking by. When this gentleman finishes walking by, then we'll go ahead and we'll try it one more time. Now, when you're doing this, you can also do this by not looking at the person, and you might want to recruit one of your friends that Bilbo hasn't met to do this. That way you can kind of control the situation. Having earbuds where you can talk to the person is really helpful. Hey, great day today, isn't it?
It is.
Click, there you go. And so we're doing what's called a warm-up. I'm getting gradually closer and closer to him. And so because I started over there, and he's getting a click every time and a treat every time that I talk to him, he's starting to build up a positive association with it. So you saw there, he got a little bit tense, he kind of jerked a little bit, and that's just, I'm a little bit, I don't know what she's all about. All right, so let's go ahead and try to pull him back. There we go, call him, and go ahead and click. There we go. It's fun to have the person barking or hawking when you're doing a video, huh?
No. David,
No.
dogs in that apartment that are in the balcony, they trigger him.
Oh, that trainer?
Whenever,
Oh,
yeah,
they trigger him?
yeah, whenever we pass by the apartment, they start barking and then he starts.
Okay.
Crazy.
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll work on that next. Urban environment. Okay, so now I'm a little bit closer. And Bilbo's really giving good attention to her, and so we'll just wait. I'm going to wait for him to kind of disengage. You kind of don't keep eye contact with. There you go. And so, can you believe the heat that we're having today?
I cannot.
Click, treat. So what we're basically doing is we're just building an association. When somebody talks to me, I hear the click afterwards, and then I get a treat. Now, you saw first when I was doing this, when I was about 3 feet further away, he barked when I talked to her. This warm-up process allows me to get closer and closer. Now, we're going to go ahead and do the same sort of thing, and I'm going to kind of recreate what's more typical of a pass. So I'm going to have, when I walk this way, she's going to walk over here and stand here with Bilbo, and I'm going to be walking and pass him. And then I'm going to say hello as I pass. Now I'm moving, and I'm also getting closer to her and talking with motion. And so that's now a couple of different elements. So we'll see how he does with this one. So go ahead and go right over there. All right. Bilbo wants to sniff, so we'll let him sniff for a sec. That's okay. There you go. All right, so let's try to turn him. Can you take one step towards me? I want to kind of get him looking in this direction. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to walk by and say hello, have a treat in your hand, get ready to click. Hey, how you doing? Click. All right, so I'm going to turn around and pass. I'm going to be a little bit closer. And let's try to, again, do a little bit of a half circle, try to get him kind of looking in this direction. If he's caught from behind, that might make me feel a little bit startled. There we go. So call his name. There you go. Man, that's a good looking dog.
Thank you.
So if you do this exercise and you do it where you're going to recruit your friends that he hasn't met, they can basically practice. Now, at first I was walking on this path, then I might walk on this path, then I might walk here, then I might do the same thing. Hey, good to see you.
Hey, David.
And you can kind of walk in different paths. And let's see, do one more time. Oh, what a good looking dog he is. Click. There you go. Now, I like to use the sit like I talked about earlier to tell if a dog feels comfortable. So see if you can get him to sit. Just ask him to sit one time, but don't keep the leash nice and loose. There you go. And click. There you go. So, if I like to use the sit because if he gets up out of a sit, that's like his first indicator I'm uncomfortable. That comes, most of the time we wait for the dog to start barking and exploding, but that means that now I'm hysterical. And so really he's gonna take a longer to settle down, and we waited too long, and now the practice is really not very helpful. But if we have him sitting and I'm like, hey, how you doing? There we go. And I'll go ahead and repeat again. Nice looking dog you got there. You see he got up. So I got a little bit closer and waved, and he got up, but he didn't bark. The whole point for this exercise is he cannot bark. He can, obviously, but if he barks, then he's saying that you passed my limit. The whole point for this is we want to gradually, like kind of like an ocean wave, get a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer, but we have to go at Bilbo's pace. So if Bilbo gets up, stop the experiment, ask the person to move away, and that's why it's helpful if you have a friend do it, because you can be talking to your friend on earbuds, or for him, I guess we don't even need earbuds, we're this close. You say, okay, and you might come up with a watchword. So if I say flee, that means you just turn and move away and stop talking to me, and we immediately give him a chance to reset. Now when you're doing this, I would try to do this in like maybe, for each person, maybe 1 to 3 minutes maximum. Because it looks really easy, but for him, that kind of can be stressful. Somebody scary is walking by and they keep on talking to my human. It's also important to have a lot of variety. We're right outside of his house. This is a pretty busy area. Like I talked about earlier, we don't have a confined area. But we might do this and have maybe 2 of your friends meet you on a walk. So you're walking around your neighborhood and you have somebody one person's just sitting here and you pass by and they're like, hey, how you doing? You have the other person maybe walking by passing you and then you switch up. So the idea is to have a lot of variety in these incidents and gradually get closer and closer. And eventually Bilbo's like, when people come up and say hi to me or my mom, it means I'm about to get a treat. And I know and the clicker is what helps him kind of build a positive association. So if somebody comes up, they says hello, and then I don't bark and I get a treat. And it's not that he's thinking I don't bark, but it's like when people come up and say hi, there's a click afterwards and I get a treat. So he looks at somebody coming by and talking to him as a precedent, meaning that he's going to get a treat. So we're changing a negative into a positive. Let's see if I can give him a little treat. Bilbo, hey buddy. Now, don't do this until you're done with the experiment, because once I've done this a couple times, he's probably not going to care if we talk to him. So, although it's nice, everybody wants to meet your dog, if you have a friend that lives nearby, you might want to have them practice a couple times doing this same passing thing without giving him a treat or meeting him. That way you can use that person as a target a couple times. And when you're doing that, have the person wear different clothing. So maybe one time they're wearing a hat and their hair is pulled back. The other time their hair is down and they're wearing shorts and a bright colored shirt. So that way they have a different appearance. But dogs are really scent creatures. So once he smells somebody, he's going to kind of know who they are. So maybe and you meet in different locations as well with that same person. So that same person you could probably use 3 or 5 different times. And if you can get like maybe 5 or 10 friends and do a planner. And kind of schedule it. So we're going to do it here. You're going to meet on this street. You're going to meet on Wilshire. You're going to meet on Crenshaw. And then, you kind of arrange the situations for the dog to be comfortable. Now, one last little thing I'm going to go over is something I like to call find it away. Now, find it away is basically just teaching the dog to move away from things. So let's say somebody's walking towards you and let's say that they're a mentally unbalanced person and they're just screaming and talking to anybody and you're trapped. You don't have your clicker with you. Or you need to increase distance. Like I talked about earlier, increasing distance is the best thing to do. Bilbo. So let's say the person's walking from behind the camera. I say, find it. His marker is yes, right?
Yes.
Yes. Find it. Yes. Find it. Yes. Find it. Find it. Yes. Now this is the very first time I've done this with him. The first one I dropped just right in under his nose, so it's very easy for him to get. The second one was 1 foot away. The next one was 2 feet away. The next couple were about 4 feet away. So what we're trying to do is increase distance. Now if I only do this when somebody's walking by or somebody's talking to me, then he's going to start looking for the boogeyman when you do this. So when you're on a walk and there's nobody here, just do find it. Find it. Yes. And that is an indication he felt uncomfortable, so he moved away. But if you practice this in little grass areas, so you do 1 right underneath, 1 foot away, 2 feet away, 4 feet away, after a while that becomes a fun game. So you say find it, drop the treat, you say yes when he licks it up. Find it, drop the next treat, yes when he licks it up, and do that for all the treats. And then you've moved him towards the street or down an alley or wherever it is, so that way he is reactive to dogs. So this would be probably something I would use more for the dogs since he doesn't have a problem with people unless they talk to his guardian. So if you see a dog walking by and I'm trapped, there's nowhere else to go, find it, find it, find it, find it, and then you've increased the distance so your dog doesn't have to manage the situation. The more that we provide that safe environment, then I don't have to bark because I'm only barking to make things go away. Well, if my mom walks me away, then I don't have to bark because I don't feel uncomfortable. And there's a certain distance. Now the distance also is going to depend on the dog. If the dog is walking by like little Max, the dog was, we were doing a little work before we shot this video. Max is a little dog and he's walking by very calmly. We could probably be a lot closer to that dog. If there's another dog that's barking and really full of energy and running circles and jumping up, we might need to move we probably would need to move further away. And so the idea is we help the dog feel comfortable because we're managing the distance for them. All right, Bilbo, come here, buddy. I got some good salmon for you, buddy. Well, this is my buddy Bilbo, and these are some tips you can use if you have a dog that likes to bark at people who try to talk to you as a little bonus video on how to do the find it away.